Welcome to the Anthony Spade channel.
Welcome back to the Anthony Spade channel. I'm your host, Anthony Spade. And today we're going to be talking about why long distance relationships don't last. All right? And I'm going to say out of long distance relationships, this is probably what's going to happen 90% of the time. Let's just admit it. Long-term relationships do not last. All right. For one, the communication with each other just becomes repetitive. Every time you get on the phone, it's the same old, same old. What you doing? What was your day? Oh, is your friend still doing that? This. The conversation starts sounding the same. That's what starts making the conversation, even just answering the phone, becomes boring. That's when you're just like, all right, I won't answer now. I'll call back in a couple hours. Say I was busy. That's what starts to happen. They stop picking up the phone. When it's fresh and it's new, long distance, yes, you're gonna pick up the phone. You got a lot to explain. But as the relationships keep going, it's gonna get boring and boring, saying the same thing over and over again. Next, it's a financial strain. Like, you're either gonna be spending a lot of money in gas to go see the other person, or you're gonna be doing plane tickets to go see the other person. It's gonna be a financial strain in order for you just to keep seeing that person, to keep traveling to see them. It's gonna become cost effective. A lot of people don't have money to always up and go out of town to see someone because they have to work and they have bills to pay for themselves. This is one of the main reasons, is that you're gonna start spending money to go see the person, but then you're gonna realize, like, man, I can't get up here and spend the money to see them like that. So that's gonna tie into the phone conversation start being different. So you gotta understand, you gotta spend money. If you're not gonna be with that person, you have to spend money. Celebrities and people with money, they can have long-term relationships because they have enough money to keep flying back and forth. I've seen people that run relationships like that, where they had a long-term relationship, but they both lived in two states, but both were two successful people that can actually fly back and forth. I've seen that done, but very rare. Not enough to count in this situation. Next, we're gonna say different lifestyle. Now, the different lifestyles is what's gonna cause you to grow apart. And the reason for that is, if that person's in a different city and you're in a different city, then there's two different kind of vibes. You know what I'm saying? There's a big difference between Alabama and Florida. Two different type of vibes, two different type of everything's going on. It's a big difference between Mississippi and Los Angeles. It's two different type of vibes going. Your environment will change you. You're gonna have friends that think and act a certain way. They're gonna meet new friends, or they're gonna have friends that think and act a certain way too. Your environment is what's gonna cause you to grow apart, because both of you are gonna be experiencing two different things on a day-to-day basis. That's gonna all tie right back into the financial strain, where you can't be there to see what's going on, and then the phone calls are gonna change. Next, we're gonna say not having sex. Now, this is the big one, because when you start having sex and you're especially busy as a person, your sex drive goes up the harder you work. So if they're out of town and they're stressing about sex and they need somebody next to them, and you can't financially afford to go see them or be next to them, that's gonna put a drain on your relationship. You know, women need to be whole. They need to be touched, especially if they've been around the same guy for a long period of time. And when he's not there, they need somebody to be next to. Men always need sex, period. Period. Men need sex. But what men don't understand, women need it more, especially if they've been consistently doing sex or consistently having sex. You must understand, long distance relationships, in my opinion, should only be flings. You should not take them serious. Another thing is, the relationship is not seeing any progress at all. There's nothing happening. The phone calls are the same. You don't know when the next time you're gonna see each other, because you gotta wait to save money to do this and then plan for that. So you talking about the next time you're gonna see each other could be months down the road, and she needs sex. That's when you're going to start growing apart. That's when everything grows apart. It's when both of you need sex and the phone conversation is getting boring and you can't financially pay to see each other. That's when the breakup's going to actually start. Long distance relationships is going to require money. I don't recommend long distance relationship. Maybe if you need to talk to somebody about something just to get your confidence up, and maybe that's a woman you go see maybe once or twice a year, y'all would meet up. I wouldn't even fly to her state to see her. I have her fly and you two meet somewhere. That's the type of situation I'll say if you do long term, but I wouldn't like be in a relationship with another woman in another state unless both of us can financially just throw money away seeing each other by taking flights and trips and doing these things. That's the only way I see long distance relationships working. But for the most part, you're mainly just staying together because of need or because it's just your brain's been accustomed to doing it. But your environment is going to change the way you think and feel about each other, especially when you change the circle of people you've been around. This is Anthony Spade. Thank you for watching. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel, comment and like. Let me know how you feel. Hasta la vista. Back to the Anthony Spade channel. Today I'm going to be talking about why MGTOW is the only way. Before we get started, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, watch the entire video, press the like button. Alright, if you have any comments, go to the comment section, I do read it. Alright, today is why is MGTOW the only way to go for men? Alright, in order to get you to understand the message that I have to deliver, I'm going to go back in time, and I'm going to go back to the Roman Empire, which existed for 1400 years to 1453 when the Roman Empire came down. Now, during the Roman Empire, you had a lot of homosexuality. You had a lot of bisexuals. You had a lot of lesbian women. Okay, and I'm going to explain to that. Okay, the Greek men under Roman rulership believed that there was no greater love than the love of two men. Women were pretty much used for breeding. It wasn't that many women around. And if you look at old movies like Gladiator, Troy, they all consist of groups of men. All right? One of the groups of men that led was Band of Thebes. An example of that, the movie 300 with Spartans in real life was actually called Band of Thebes, which consisted of 150 pairs of men, which gave you 300 men. And out of the 150 pairs of men, one man was alpha and one man was beta. The men with the beards were alpha. The men without the beards were beta. The men that penetrated other men were the alpha males. The betas were the guys being penetrated until they could grow a beard, and then they were able to penetrate their own man. All right? The women at that time were second-class citizens, actually less than second-class citizens. They all were placed on the island of Lesbos, which is right outside of Greece. And on that island, the women had to defend for themselves. Women were on the island for so long that women started becoming Amazon women, which means they were warriors that mimic the masculinity of a man to protect the submissive women on the island. And the reason why they protected the women on the island is because the Greek men would come to the island to rape the women and kidnap the kids, especially men that were grown enough to be beta guys.